From the moment I open up my eyes, there's one thing that stays on my mind. The Love Her Show with the duo. You gotta love her, praise her, treat her right. Let your life reflect all the beauty that's inside of you. You gotta love yourself. Let the best of you shine through.
Welcome to the Love Her Show with the duo.
Yes, welcome back, lovers. It's so nice to see you. We had a great Labor Day weekend.
We did. But for those of you who are just joining us, this is the podcast where we discuss all things love, life, business, and bliss.
Yes, and I'm Kelli Fisher.
And I'm Tana Gilmore.
And together,
we're the Matchmaking duo.
So come on in. Yes.
Come on, so sit tight. Join us. And thank you for joining us for episode 29.
Yes, and I think that you alluded to it a little bit earlier. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, we are life and relationship coaches. We're professional matchmakers.
We are authors of our book, Relationship Do-Overs, and Essence.com, bloggers, and also national speakers.
Yes, I love, actually, we haven't done a speaking engagement in a while. I look forward to doing that.
We just came off a tour. What are you talking about?
Like a speaking engagement, when you do a keynote.
Yeah.
That's always, so great.
How soon we forget? We were on tour all summer. I'm tired.
I'm tired too, yes. But I think, that one-on-one and engaging with a crowd of, people on a certain topic, which we did. Yes, we did have our Love Her Tour, which was amazing.
It was from June to August.
It was. Thank you again to everyone who came out and joined us. So, but yes, I guess I'm ready to get back out there again.
Yeah. We've had a couple of weeks off, and we had a little vacation in between. So
much needed.
Yes. So I hope you all had an amazing Labor Day weekend and had some fun.
Can we get a bell for Labor Day?
We love the long weekends, even though it's, as entrepreneurs, of course, those of you who are listening that are entrepreneurs or striving to become an entrepreneur, you rarely get like holidays off. I mean, we had dates going on yesterday. We're emailing and texting and carrying on all day. So even though it was Labor Day, we're still like working as an entrepreneur. You really don't get the time off unless you actually just shut down your computer, shut down your phone, and just shut down like access to you. And I think that that's where sometimes we struggle as entrepreneurs, just shutting off access. I don't know that we've ever have we ever?
Well, I think we've gotten better with that. Someone was just
completely.
Well, no, not completely.
No,
not completely. But I think the good thing is we were just doing an interview this morning, and someone was asking us how do we balance personal with career, and I think we have gotten better, I must say, with being more strategic with our calendar. So we have a shared calendar as business partners. And I think, before we'd be like, okay, we'll just get them in whenever, or, now we really block out time for personal, for vacations, for family, and so we just work around it, which should be one of the benefits, I think, for, having your own business.
Yeah. Even if we have to go to the dentist or the doctor or something like that, we just kind of work around that. And that's just, again, what we have to do as entrepreneurs. So, I guess that's one of the perks.
That is one of the perks.
But the other thing is we may have an appointment at 2:00 in the afternoon, but then we pick back up at 8:00 at night sometimes.
Which is not bad. Yeah. I mean, I was just thinking that. So we might pick back up at 8. I might pick back up at 10 because I have little ones. So, I mean, I usually start the whole dinner thing and we do homework and all of that. So usually my time to pick back up again is about 9 or 10
everybody's
p.m.
gone to bed.
Yeah. And then I start my day again. So I guess you have to be more strategic, but we want everyone to work on having a balanced personal and personal life and career. So that's, I think, an ongoing process.
I think that our ultimate goal is we've said this from the day we started our business, and we used to do a good job of it when we first started the business. Like we would take every Friday off at 1:00, but then as we got busier, we just couldn't do it anymore because we needed to fit clients in those times. So but we need to get back to that.
Yeah.
And also taking the month of August off. We've been doing it in baby steps. So we'll take a week or two here, there, but we were still working. Even in Martha's Vineyard, we were still working.
Well, I think, when you take into account what we do, it's very difficult to not work and be around a whole bunch of successful, progressive people and not, want to put them in our database or find out a little bit more about them for a prospective client. So I guess, in that vein, it's really hard to turn it off.
It is hard to turn it off. And then we have clients going out on dates at all times of during the week and the weekends. And so Kelli and I are like the big sisters. I mean, we wanted to make sure they got there on time. We want to make sure they're safe. We want to make sure, everything is fine. We want to make sure, when the date is over, we want to make sure that they're okay and they're going their separate ways or whatever that is. We are just like on call all the time. So we have a team behind us that supports us. So we're so thankful for our team.
We have an amazing team.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
But we're so hands-on. We're so hands-on because can't wait to hear all about it. Like we're going to have another one, a couple of people that went out for the first time this weekend that we have follow-up post-date calls this afternoon.
And I want to announce we have another match made. So we got to get a bell for that. Yes, we had another one of our clients. And that was, just to be transparent, it's just one of our topics for today. It took a while, for her to meet the right person. And, she was getting discouraged and frustrated. And we're like, just hang in there. Even though these people are good on paper, sometimes, you just might not have the chemistry. So we can't, like as we always say, we can't create chemistry. We can put you in the room with someone who has similar goals and like-minded, but you have to create the chemistry. So she had been out on maybe 6 dates.
She had to at least,
And she was like, I know you guys are doing a good job. I just don't know. Maybe it's me. And now this last one.
He was a winner.
It was a winner.
He was a winner. So we got the email that they are exclusive like last week. And it was just music to our ears. I mean, we are celebrating high five and all those things. We're so happy.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. And here's the thing, to be even more transparent, she was a bit older. Mm-hmm. So for those of you who are struggling with your age and thinking, oh my gosh, is it too late for me? It's not too late.
No.
It's not too late. She was a bit older, but we just kept at it. So it's just a matter of finding someone that's in the same space as you, in the mind frame as you, that's rowing the same way. And so we will turn over every rock to find him or her. So whatever that may be, whether, we're searching by foot or whether we're searching our colleagues' databases online,
friends, family, everything.
Find him.
Yes.
We will find him. And so we don't, I've always said, I think I'm more of an overachiever and Kelly's a perfectionist. So it's a recipe for either disaster or greatness.
So far, it's been greatness so far. But yes, we have our moments. I'm like, everything has to be like to a T.
And she is so particular.
Over the top. But that was my training from my past profession. But it comes in handy. It does. So, and Tana will not give up until she gets the right person. She's not. No. She's like a dog with a bone.
I am.
That's great.
I'm telling you, I will not stop. I won't sleep. I won't. No, we're going to win. Yes. We are going to win.
So it's a winning team. So anyway, it was
How was your Labor Day?
Oh. My Labor Day weekend was good. As we said before, we had traveled for a while, and I'm still recovering because we went to 4 cities and then had a boot camp workshop after that, and so that we did for 3 weeks.
Yep.
And then just went to Martha's Vineyard, and we did a lot of things. So my body is still tired, but I had some great time with my daughters over the weekend. We enjoyed the 3-day weekend, did a little movie binge watching, which I don't get to do that often, got our Netflix on. And I did some adulting, I must say, on Monday. I did some adulting.
That adulting. Adulting.
Yes, I went to an amazing festival with great bands, with great company. So we shall see.
We shall see. If you can see her face, if you can see her little face with a smile, Lord.
We shall see. But
yes, we shall see.
We shall see. It was a wonderful, wonderful day with great company.
Of course it was.
And you? How was your weekend?
It was great. So my two of my sons came home one was coming home from Fayetteville. He lives in Fayetteville, was in the military. And then the other one is at West Point. He's a senior in college at West Point. And so the two of the boys came home this weekend and surprised us. And so it was so awesome. We didn't have any plans prior to them coming home. So, I was able to cook and enjoy family. We did a fire, outside on the fire pit. And we just, it's nice. We, had some cocktails with my grown kids. And it was just really nice being able to sit and have grown up talk with them. And, I'm so proud of them. And it was just wonderful just being with the family. Because as empty nesters, it gets quiet sometimes at home. And so you really enjoy it when the kids come back and, they have their own lives and they're doing well. And so
Yeah, that must
so
be such a
nice.
feeling of accomplishment. I haven't gotten there yet, although we have small goals,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
that's wonderful where you
Yeah.
can sit back. I look forward to that, having holidays where we can kick back and just have some adult conversation and just enjoying each other on a different level.
Yeah, my voice may be a little hoarse from screaming on the roller coasters yesterday. So, yes, we went. So while Kelly was adulting, I had the girls, and so we had so much fun at the amusement park here in Charlotte. And just I haven't been on a roller coaster probably in about 5 years. So I'm screaming for dear life. I'm calling out Jesus. I'm calling everybody. So
My daughters were
voice.
like, Aunt Tana was screaming Jesus.
Yes, I was. I was screaming Jesus on those roller coasters. So no, we had fun. We had fun.
Yeah, well, we hope that you all had a great Labor Day weekend too. So always let us know when you can. Send us a note and just let us know you're still there. So I know our topic for today, we were having some conversations even last week about some of the things that come up pretty often in our coaching. And one happens to be the importance of showing up as your authentic self. And that one word that many of us and our clients don't like to hear, or don't even like to tackle, is transparency. So being transparent and being authentic. So I think, one of the main challenges we hear pretty often from our clients and people seeking relationships is that they've gotten away from being authentic. Whether they've gotten lost in their career, caring for family members, aspiring to be the best girlfriend or wife in past relationships, or even being bestie of the year. We all know someone who falls into some of those categories. And I think over time, they've probably lost themselves along the way. So kind of like that Coming to America movie where it's like, whatever you like, whatever you like. And you're like, okay, you have lost yourself. So, but when you think about it, how difficult is it to have a successful relationship of any kind if you're not quite sure who you are and what you bring to the table? So, think about what brings you happiness, what makes you angry. It's impossible then for another party to know their role in your life and in the relationship. So what can we do to show up more authentically and, quite frankly, be more transparent?
Yeah. It's interesting because when we were thinking about this topic today, I was thinking about, just shake the facade. I mean, how many times do we conform, what we think, he or she or whoever it may be may like, and we try to conform and be that person that they want us to be.
Right.
Just for validation purposes. I mean, there's so many people that we run across that try to conform to be that person. I think about even when in my 20s, I was with someone, a man who liked certain things that I didn't like, but I went along with it, and it's just a mess. It's just a mess, and that wasn't even who I was.
Yeah,
it
that's
wasn't
difficult.
who I was. It was somebody that drank regularly and often, and it's like I didn't like that. So why am I conforming to this behavior if that's not who I want in my life? So but to make him happy, as some of us do, we make them happy, and we just conform to that behavior because we think that they may want us more, or just want us in their life and want to be around us more. And so that's just not really, who I was at the time. So, don't conform and shake the facade.
I think that's so true, because I even think about back when I was working in corporate America, it's really difficult. I should say it's not difficult. It's easy to kind of fall into the whole facade of your, your corporate job or your title. And then, you go, how many of us, now let's just tell the truth. Can we lean in? How many of us go to work one way and come home another way? You go to work and you are prim and proper. And of course, that's something that we have to do. But I mean, now that I'm an entrepreneur, I'm like, you know what? I could have shed a little bit of that. I didn't have to be, this straight up and down pin the whole time. Because actually, it's now that I had an opportunity to shed it a bit and be myself more, 24 hours a day, it was a lot of pressure. It was a lot of pressure. I mean, you can sit at home on the cookout or, with your family and you're kicking back, having a good time. I think most people do that to some degree, but to some degree, I think, let's just say it, sometimes people of color, we have to kick it up probably 10 notches.
Oh, we do. Absolutely. Because we have more to prove. Yeah.
So, I mean, one thing I would say to be more authentic is just try to be the same person in every setting, to whatever degree that you have. I remember we went to a talk with Carla Harris, and many of you may know who she is, but she's a prominent stockbroker on Wall Street. And she was just giving us this really great talk about, the first time she took a chance at a huge meeting. And one day, she was asked about her weekend, and she's like, normally I would say, I did this and this, and, it would have to be the standard answer. But she was like, one day I just started talking about being a gospel singer, and I, was singing at church, and, she ended up winning the deal based on everything but being a stockbroker. So that was really, I think, life-changing for me too. And I think more affirming, because I was already on that path of saying, you know what, I'm just going to be transparent. What did you do on the weekend? Tell them what you really did on the weekend. Even at work or at home or in relationships, just try to be the same person 24 hours a day as much as you possibly can.
When you were talking about that, it's so funny. When you think about people at work, they have on their suits and their tailored suits and their pearls if they're women, and their
I had mine.
Wonderful shoes and stuff like that. And then so they're one way when you and then they get in the car and turn on their trap music and bump that music so loudly.
Ooh, that might be me.
Turn on that trap music, and they are bumping all the way down the street. And then you walk in. Good morning. Good morning. How was your weekend? Oh, it was well. Thank you. They're in the car just as ratchet as they want to be. It's hilarious.
It's so funny.
Hilarious.
And you probably can't play the trap music as you bump up, all the way to your parking space at the job. But we're just saying, if you have a personal story or something that you can share, that would be able to correlate your personal life with your work life. I mean, you never know. When we get back to even, some of our clients who are single, or potential clients, or any listeners who are single, you never know how someone might hear something at, just around the water cooler about you. Like, oh, I did such and such, or I'm rock climbing, or I'm running a race. And they're like, oh, you know what? Such and such runs races. Did you know that down the hall?
Well, if you think about it, it's interesting because people buy from people that they like. I mean, if you're in corporate, you've heard them say that, and so they buy from people that they make an emotional connection with, even in the workspace. So most deals are done on on a personal level. Either they're playing golf, or they're playing tennis, or they're running, or they're doing that. And so I can't think about how many deals that we've made over the years in our corporate career, just based off of not just our knowledge and expertise. That's a given because we're there. We've arrived there. We're there for a reason. We've earned that seat at the table. But more importantly, how we connect on a personal level. And that's what's going to keep the business. Yes. So again, that's the relationship too. You've earned the right to be in that space. So you're already validated coming into the door.
Right.
But then how you connect emotionally is going to keep you there.
And I think it makes someone think twice when those RFPs go out and they're like, you know what, we're going to switch providers, or we're going to switch. And then they're like, but you know what, that's my friend. I might not even, I'm going to do what I can to try to keep them. And that's the same thing with relationships. It's the same thing all around. So I think just building those authentic connections. But if you don't share anything that makes you unique, like Tana said, you come in, of course, that's a given. You're coming in with the knowledge, you're coming in with everything that you need as far as education. But what makes you different? And again, that comes back to the whole unique selling proposition that we've talked about many, many times. But we see how it segues into personal life, into career, all of those things. So helping to determine what that is. I think also another way to show up more authentically is, after hours with personal relationships, try as often as you can to shed your work title. So even with me, and I know Tana does this too sometimes, if we're at a barbecue or a social gathering, I mean, there are times when I don't even want to say what I do because I just want to be me,
and more reasons than one.
Yes. I mean, we know that it's always fun to hear, oh, you're a matchmaker. Oh, wow. And then people start saying all of their relationship problems, which is always an interesting conversation. But I mean, even with our clients who are attorneys or marketing backgrounds or doctors, attorneys don't all of a sudden want to discuss the case that they have pending, or doctors don't want to discuss your sore big toe, So it's just up to us to be authentic. Forget about the work title and just start having conversations as much as you can around the clock about just your personal life and things that make you unique. Definitely.
And we just encourage it to be just a natural progression. So you can just kind of ease into some of the things, again, that make you unique. Like, I may say, or segue into running. So I have a love-hate relationship with running. I hate getting out there, but I love the results at the end, and I love the medal that I get from a race, or, I love how it keeps me in shape, and so those types of things. So we talk about that, or we talk about milestones that, we've earned over the years, and there's somebody that can relate to you in some way. So you just want to be able to relate to somebody, and that way, you don't have to spend your time with being, not yourself, not being yourself, because here's the thing, it takes so much more work to just to pretend or to appear to be a certain way. This is who I am. What you see is what you get. And I'm pretty consistent. For those who know me and don't know me, I'm pretty consistent all, the entire time. We all have good and bad days, but my personality is pretty consistent. So, friends that don't know each other would probably describe me as the same type of person that have never met. So
Right.
I think it's important to be authentic. And I think that it's taken me some years, though, to even figure out who I was and what that means to me, because I spent years trying to be validated. I mean, I've talked about that. We talked about it in our book, Relationship Do-Overs. We've, talked about it, when we do keynotes and things like that, about living life on purpose, even when life happens. And so living our purpose, even when life happens, we talk about that, and just constantly feeling the need to be validated. And I think that is the problem. That's probably the root cause of most people just trying to be validated, trying to be wanted, especially
Right.
for our women. They are constantly wanting to be validated by men. And so if you just show up with who you are, the right man will come along and sweep you off your feet.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because he will love you for who you are. And don't make any excuses for that. Who you are is who you are.
Yeah.
If you like eating potato chips with hot sauce, by doggone, eat your potato chips with hot sauce. Don't hide it.
You don't have it in your bag later.
You have hot sauce in your bag, pull out your hot sauce. That's who
funny.
you are.
That's so funny. And when you think about it, though, I think the most powerful relationships are the ones who have taken the risk on both sides to be transparent. So whether that's a business relationship, whether it's a personal relationship, a romantic relationship, when you even think about best friends, most of the time your best friends that have been long-standing best friends probably know just about everything about you. And I think the problem is a lot of times we're fearful about letting people in, or, knowing what to share, how much to share with people that we don't have very close to us. But I think it's still important to share some details. So even take some time in advance to see, what can I share with other people so that I can build a deeper relationship, with them, but I don't have to give them, every deepest dark secret that I have, because that's not necessary. You don't know how they're going to, give them a little bit, see what they do, at least to be able to forge a bond. So I always say, give a lot of details. And I think we've said that before.
We have.
Give a lot of details about, for instance, you want to think of a few standard things that you want others to know about you. So, whether it's that, for me, I always say, my family sticks together, or family's important to me. But, that's standard. So sometimes I think about, a personal story where I know one day Tana and I had something really big we were doing, and I needed someone to, sit with my girls, and my sister and her husband were on vacation. So they're like, what, we're just going to come. We want to spend time with them anyway. So we're going to come down that week and just spend time with them. But then there was a huge snowstorm, and I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? And nobody could move. And they made it all the way from New Jersey to Charlotte. And now I wouldn't advise this, but it was just the amount. I was just so overwhelmed with their love for me to want to make it through the snowstorm so that I could be able to do what I had set out to do, because it was a huge opportunity. So, those types of things, go a little bit further than just say, oh, family is important to me. But that's a story that someone might remember down the line.
But if you had not been authentic and shared, listen, I know it's a snowstorm, and I want you all to be safe, but this is a huge opportunity for us, and we really, really need this for our business. How many times do we not share something that's really important for fear that someone may say no, or they may look at us as being needy or whatever? But people cannot help you if you're not clear with them and you don't express what's going on.
And then, end up getting bitter over time, because you're like, no one shows up for me. But now let's peel it back a little bit. Like you said, have you shared with them that I really need your help? A lot of times, and you can't believe how many times clients have come to us and they're like, what, no one's really there for me. I'm always there for everyone else. And then we start talking about, well, what opportunities have you given to friends and family to be there for you? And they're like, what? I don't think I have, because I just know they probably wouldn't. But you don't know that they wouldn't.
No, you don't know, because you haven't shared with them. And so we challenge each one of you who may be struggling with, authenticity and transparency and being vulnerable to share something personal with some friends or family this week. And even so much, ask somebody something, just ask them to show up for you in a way. Just say, I need for you, if you're planning on going out or whatever, if you're planning on going shopping, say, you know what, can you pick me up today?
Right.
Ask them to pick you up. If you're always driving, because you're always offering to,
Yes.
ask them, you know what, can you pick me up today? I think that, I'm tired and I really could use a break. So can you pick me up? So allow them to show up. It could be as simple as that, but just allow them to show up for you. You can't complain about it if you've not been authentic and asked somebody to really, giving them the opportunity to show up.
Yeah, and you can't allow the fear of them not showing up to stifle you from having that deeper connection. And I think that a lot of times translates over to romantic relationships. So if you think about your family, your friends, you're always the go-to, everyone's sucking the life out of you. Not all the time because they're bad people. It's just because they don't think you have anything else going on because you haven't communicated that. And then you try to get into a relationship and you're like, oh, I just want someone to take that, things off of my plate. But how are you going to be able to really communicate to a significant other, even the things that you want to do if you haven't practiced before you get into a relationship?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. I mean, I just think about that. I was guilty of that too very early on. And who kind of helped me with that is Kelli. I was so bad. I was like, oh, I can't ask that person for that. Oh, I can't. She's like, well, why can't you? I mean, have you?
Are doing everything and showing up for everybody, which I mean, we both love giving back and, being the go-to person. But every once in a while, you need help too.
You do. And so the minute I was like almost afraid to even hit send on the phone or a text message or to ask someone for something or, hey, I really need your help with this. Can you help me with this? I mean, it took everything in me to be able to do it. But I must say that once I did it, I was on a roll. I was like, I called this person, I called that person. And I was like, I was in awe and in tears of how many people actually showed up for me because they love me.
Yeah.
But, before I would be like, oh no, they won't. And she's like, why won't they? You are there for everybody.
Yeah.
You show up for everybody. So you travel to everybody's event, you support them. Why wouldn't they help you or support you in this? And I didn't have an answer. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you made a good point. I mean, it's on the other side of this is that it's very humbling and you get a chance to really see. So who cares? It might be one or two people that don't show up. And you know what? That needs to be revealed too. But all the people that will show up for you, you can feel the love and give them an opportunity. I know I used to have some friends that every time I asked them, well, what can I do? There's a death in the family or there's this going on, how can I help? Or I would want to show up and do things. And, they didn't know how to receive it. So I don't know if you've ever been in that that type of friendship or relationship where you can't do anything. It's almost like one-sided where, I used to feel like, well, geez, they'll never let me help them with anything. And that's stifling too, because you don't want to always have to be the recipient and not ever have the opportunity to help somebody else. So you don't want to be that person that no one can help because it's like, gosh, there are people who don't want to be a leech,
Yeah, and I was guilty of being that person. I was like, but that's not even who I am. I mean, I love having support now, and I love having people show up for me. I'm telling you, when you do it, it is so, you be so emotional. Like I was in tears at how many people was there to support or to help. And so I was like, wow, they do love me. It's like, they do love me.
They should. And let's talk about that for a second. So what was the fear though? Because I was wondering, because maybe a lot of people out there would say, what would the fear be in not asking the people around you?
Yeah, so I figured it out. So I think that the fear would be that I was needy and weak. And so I've been, as the oldest child, I'm the matriarch in our family. So I have seven siblings seven of us on my father's side. And so I'm the oldest of seven and 6 girls and 1 boy. And then my mother has 3 children. I'm the oldest on that. So I'm the one. I'm the one that everybody comes to. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to create a plan. I'm going to help you execute that plan. But here I am. I'm in need of something. And I'm like, well, they're not going to look at me as the leader anymore. But again, that goes to me not feeling validated early on. Like, I had this title of being the matriarch or being the leader and being the one who's going to fix it, solve it, and the one that everybody had come to. And over the years, it was like, you know what? I am that person, but I'm human.
Right.
And I have needs too. And I need for you to show up for me just like I have for you for the last however many years, 30 plus years or whatever.
Wow. And that's difficult too, because the other thing is when you haven't allowed people the opportunity, they don't know where to start. So take, for instance, any friends that I've had that, I wanted to be there for, I wouldn't even know where to start. I don't know what would offend them. I don't know what is too much, what's too little. So you almost have to guide them, early on to say, this is exactly what I do need. So, so we just want to thank you guys for coming out and, and coming and spending some time with us.
Yeah, great. So you can find us on the matchmakingduo.com and our social media at Matchmaking Duo.
Yes, everywhere. And wait, we're coaches. So what are we going to do? We're going to issue a challenge.
What's the challenge?
Our challenge is going to be to find someone around you where you can be more transparent and give them the opportunity to help you if you find yourself in this category. So this week, that is the challenge. Let us know how it went. Okay, have an amazing, amazing week, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
To embrace the love.